They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I prefer mine piping hot, with a side of public humiliation and a garnish of social media destruction. My name is Ethan Carter, and 6 months ago, I thought I had the perfect marriage. Turns out, I was just the perfect fool. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Our love was Instagrammable, until the filter slipped, I muttered to myself, staring at the rain-streaked window of my cramped studio apartment. 6 months ago, I lived in a penthouse with my wife Olivia, a rising fashion designer with champagne taste and beer loyalty. Now I'm here, in a place where the elevator sounds like it's dying, and my neighbor's cat has more square footage than my kitchen. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind to the moment my picture-perfect world cracked like cheap makeup. It was a Tuesday night in March. Olivia had been working late again, her third emergency that week. I had more faith in the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series than in her work emergencies being legitimate. She'd been distant for months, constantly glued to her phone, whispering conversations that ended abruptly when I entered the room. The text came at 11:47 p.m. "I'm not yours anymore. Don't call me. I'll be late tonight." I stared at that message for exactly 30 seconds. Then I typed back, "I'm not your husband anymore. Don't come back." I packed my essentials into 2 duffel bags, left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter with a note that read, "I'm done," and walked out into the Chicago rain. My phone started buzzing immediately. 53 missed calls from Olivia and her assistant Tessa by morning. I ignored every single one. If this was a romantic comedy, I'd be on a bridge right now, I told my reflection in the coffee shop window the next morning. But I'm too smart to drown for someone who can't swim in loyalty. That's when I called Aaron Mitchell, my best friend and the best private investigator in Chicago. Aaron has the personality of a caffeinated bloodhound and the moral flexibility of a yoga instructor. "So she finally showed her true colors?" Aaron asked, sliding into the booth across from me at Murphy's Diner. "I always said she had the depth of a puddle and twice the transparency." "I need to know everything, Aaron. Who, what, when, where, and preferably how long it's been going on." Aaron grinned. "Now you're speaking my language. Give me a week." He needed 3 days. Lucas Mason, Olivia's business partner, married father of 2, owner of a vintage Porsche and an ego the size of Lake Michigan. The affair had been going on for 8 months. Aaron had photos, receipts, hotel records, and, the crown jewel, a video of Lucas and Olivia at a wine bar, trash-talking me. "He's too boring to notice anything except his spreadsheets." Olivia's voice crackled through Aaron's laptop speakers. "I mean, who gets excited about tax law? Poor bastard probably thinks you're working late because you care about the business." Lucas laughed. "If he only knew you were working on me." I'd always wanted to be a supporting character in my own marriage, but this was ridiculous. "There's more," Aaron said, pulling out another recording. "Your lovely wife and her assistant had quite the conversation at Vintage Wine Bar last Thursday." Tessa's nasal voice filled the room. "I still can't believe Ethan doesn't suspect anything. He's so trusting." "Trusting is just another word for stupid," Olivia replied. "He pays the bills, I get the thrills. It's a perfect arrangement." "What about when he finds out?" "He won't, and if he does, I'll just tell him it's his fault for being so inadequate." I closed the laptop. "Aaron, how do you feel about destroying some lives?" "It's Tuesday, isn't it? I was getting bored anyway." Our plan was elegant in its simplicity. We wouldn't break any laws, wouldn't resort to violence, and wouldn't get our hands dirty. We'd use Olivia and Lucas's own arrogance and secrets to destroy their reputations, finances, and relationships. Sometimes, the best weapon is a mirror. Phase 1 began at Olivia's spring collection launch. The event was held at the Chicago Cultural Center, packed with fashion bloggers, potential investors, and society photographers. Olivia had been planning this night for months. It was supposed to be her breakthrough moment. I arrived early, dressed in my best suit, and positioned myself near the AV booth. Aaron had spent 2 days learning the venue's Bluetooth system. As Olivia took the stage in a flowing white dress, looking every inch the successful designer, I connected my phone to the sound system. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Olivia began, her voice echoing through the marble halls. "Fashion is about transformation, about becoming your authentic self." I hit play. "He's too boring to notice anything except his spreadsheets." Olivia's recorded voice boomed through the speakers, drowning out her live speech. The crowd went silent. "Poor bastard probably thinks you're working late because you care about the business. If he only knew you were working on me." Lucas's laughter filled the room. Olivia's face went white. She frantically gestured to the AV team, but Aaron had locked them out of the system. The recording continued, playing every damning word, every cruel laugh, every detail of their affair. Trusting is just another word for stupid. He pays the bills, I get the thrills. The crowd erupted. Phones appeared, recording everything. Fashion bloggers typed frantically. Investors headed for the exits. Olivia's mother, Judith, a woman who could make an iceberg feel self-conscious, fainted dramatically near the champagne table. "I still can't believe Ethan doesn't suspect anything. He's so trusting." Tessa, standing near the stage, turned pale as her own voice betrayed her. Several people turned to stare at her, recognition dawning. The friendship that had survived high school, college, and countless shopping trips died in that moment. Olivia finally found the power switch and eliminated the sound system, but the damage was done. The room buzzed with whispered conversations and clicking cameras. She stood on stage, speechless, as her carefully crafted world crumbled around her. I slipped out through the kitchen exit, but not before hearing Judith screaming at her daughter, "You've humiliated our entire family! How could you be so stupid?" Phase 2 targeted Lucas directly. Aaron had discovered that Lucas spent every morning at Elite Fitness, a high-end gym where he held court with other successful men, flexing his ego along with his biceps. I arranged for his precious Porsche to be towed from the gym parking lot. Completely legal, I'd called in a favor from a client whose towing company owed me. While Lucas was inside lifting weights and probably bragging about his conquest, his car was being impounded for suspicious activity. But that wasn't the best part. Aaron had planted a rotten fish in the trunk the night before. I was sitting in my rental car across the street when Lucas emerged from the gym, towel around his neck, chatting with his workout buddies. I watched his face change from confusion to anger to absolute rage as he realized his car was gone. The tow truck driver handed him the impound slip. "Sorry, sir. Anonymous tip about suspicious activity. You'll need to retrieve it from the lot." "This is ridiculous. What suspicious activity?" "Don't know, sir. Might want to check your trunk, though. Something smells off." Lucas's gym buddies started laughing. "Dude, what did you do?" "Nothing. This is insane." I rolled down my window. "Hey, Lucas!" He spun around, spotted me, and his face turned purple. "You son of a—" "Careful," I called out. "You're in public. Wouldn't want to make another scene." He started walking toward my car, fists clenched. His buddies followed, probably expecting a show. Lucas reached my window and leaned in. "You think you're clever, don't you? I think I'm divorced, and I think you smell like failure and fish." He swung at me through the open window. I ducked, grabbed his wrist, and twisted it just enough to make him yelp. Then I calmly opened my car door, forcing him to step back. "You come near me again," I said, loud enough for his friends to hear, "and I'll show your wife the rest of the footage." "Yes, Lucas, there's more. Much more." His face went white. "You wouldn't." "Try me." I got back in my car and drove away, leaving Lucas standing in the parking lot, explaining to his confused friends why he smelled like a fish market and why his car had been towed. That afternoon, I used my connections at my old law firm to ensure they dropped Lucas's company as a client. His business had been hanging by a thread anyway. Losing their biggest account would finish the job. Phase 3 was where things got really interesting. Marissa Mason, Lucas's wife, was an art gallery owner with impeccable taste and a reputation for class. She deserved to know what kind of man she'd married. The package arrived at her gallery on a Thursday morning. Printed photos of Lucas and Olivia together, transcripts of their conversations, and, my personal favorite, screenshots of text messages where Olivia mocked Marissa's boring taste and suburban housewife energy. I didn't have to wait long for results. Aaron's contact at the courthouse confirmed that Marissa had filed for separation by Friday afternoon. But Olivia and Lucas weren't done fighting. They cornered me in Lincoln Park on a Saturday morning, thinking they could intimidate me into backing down. "This ends now," Lucas demanded, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "You've destroyed everything." "I haven't destroyed anything," I replied, continuing my morning jog. "I just turned on the lights." "We can make this very difficult for you," Olivia threatened, trying to keep up in her designer heels. "I have connections. I can ruin your reputation." "With what? The truth?" They chased me through the park, making a scene that drew stares from other joggers and dog walkers. I led them straight into the middle of the Lincoln Park Zoo's weekend festival, where Aaron was waiting with a flash mob he'd hired. The mob surrounded Olivia and Lucas, dancing and throwing biodegradable paint powder in celebration of new beginnings. By the time the impromptu party ended, both of them were covered in rainbow colors, looking like they'd been attacked by a unicorn. The whole thing was filmed by dozens of bystanders and posted across social media within hours. Painted cheaters started trending locally. Olivia's career imploded completely. Fashion is an image business, and her image was now permanently associated with scandal and humiliation. Sponsors pulled out, collaborations ended, and her boutique closed within a month. Lucas's company faced lawsuits from former clients who felt deceived. His reputation in Chicago's business community was finished. Even his gym buddies stopped returning his calls, but they still weren't ready to give up. Desperation makes people stupid, and Olivia had always been talented at making bad decisions. The final confrontation came on a stormy Thursday night in October. I was in my apartment, actually enjoying the peace and quiet, when I heard my door being kicked in. Olivia and Lucas burst into my living room like discount action heroes. Olivia was drunk, Lucas was desperate, and both of them were furious. "You've destroyed our lives," Olivia screamed. "We've lost everything." "Correction," I said, calmly reaching for my phone. "You destroyed your own lives. I just provided the lighting." Lucas stepped forward, threateningly. "Put the phone down." "I don't think so." I hit the live stream button on my social media account. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're live from my apartment, where my ex-wife and her lover have just broken into—" "What exactly are you here to do?" "Turn that off!" Olivia lunged for my phone. I stepped aside, and she crashed into my coffee table. "This is being broadcast live, Olivia. Smile for your fans." The viewer count was climbing rapidly. Aaron, watching from his apartment, was probably recording everything as backup. "You can't do this to us," Lucas shouted. "We'll sue you for harassment." "With what money? And harassment? You broke into my apartment, Lucas, on camera, in front of witnesses." Olivia tried a different approach, suddenly switching to her manipulation voice. "Ethan, honey, we can work this out. I made a mistake. I was confused. I was scared of commitment." "Save it for someone who cares," I interrupted. "You made your choice 8 months ago." "I choose you now. I choose us." Too late. I grabbed a bottle of soda from my fridge and poured it over Lucas's head, followed by a bag of flour I'd been saving for this moment. "You both chose poorly." Lucas, dripping and covered in white powder, looked like a demented snowman. The live stream viewers were loving it. Comments were flooding in, and the viewer count had hit 4 digits. "This is assault," he spluttered. "This is performance art," I corrected. Aaron, you can come up now. Aaron appeared in my doorway. He'd been waiting in the hallway with a security camera, recording everything from multiple angles. Together, we physically escorted Lucas out of my apartment and into the hallway, where a crowd of neighbors had gathered. Someone had called the police, who arrived just as Lucas was threatening to press charges. "Officers," I said politely, "everything's been live-streamed and recorded. These two broke into my apartment. I defended myself with soda and baking supplies." The police reviewed Aaron's footage and the live stream. No charges were filed against me. Olivia made one last desperate play, collapsing dramatically and claiming I'd emotionally abused her throughout our marriage. But I had the recordings of her own words, her own confessions, her own cruel laughter at my expense. "You called me trusting, which you said was just another word for stupid," I reminded her, playing back her voice for the officers. "You said I was too boring to notice anything. You said I was inadequate. Which part of that sounds like I was the abuser?" Marissa Mason arrived just as the police were finishing their report. She walked up to Lucas, pulled off her wedding ring, and threw it at his flower-covered chest. 20 years, she said quietly. 20 years I wasted on you." She turned to me. "Thank you for opening my eyes." As the crowd dispersed and the police left, I found myself standing on my apartment building's rooftop with Aaron, watching Olivia and Lucas disappear into the Chicago night. The storm was clearing, and the city lights sparkled below us. "So what now?" Aaron asked. "Now I live my life," I said. "Without liars, without cheaters, without people who think love is a game." My phone buzzed with notifications. The live stream had gone viral, the story was being picked up by news outlets, and my inbox was full of messages from people sharing their own betrayal stories. Olivia's fashion career was over. Lucas's business was bankrupt. Their reputations were destroyed. Their marriage prospects were non-existent. They'd lost everything that mattered to them: money, status, respect, and each other. And the beautiful part? I hadn't broken a single law. I'd simply held up a mirror and let them see themselves clearly for the first time. "Funny thing about fashion," I said, watching the last of the storm clouds clear away. "Sometimes karma never goes out of style."